up, everybody? Welcome back to the Do Marketing Differently podcast. My name is Brian Fitton. This is presented by Go Rogue X. We're super excited to get back in the studio today to bring you some awesome marketing advice, but also some cool stories from awesome people like we have today, Lauren. Who are our guests?
We've got American Estates with us, and I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
Yes. And you guys are hanging out in our new, almost fully functioning studio. We're just, it's like 80%. You know, we got the soundproofing done. We kind of got that, the essentials taken care of. Yeah. But we're super excited to chat with you guys about your journey, your story, how you got started, but also you guys are doing some pretty cool marketing stuff as well. And so we want to dive into that. It's 92,000 followers on TikTok, something around there.
Too bad.
Yep.
So,
Just getting started.
Just getting I love that. That's awesome. Okay. Well, before we dive into all of that, we like to have some fun.
Yes.
So what is that, Lauren?
Each week we like to start our episodes off with what are you obsessed with this week? So we'll start with Nikki. What are you obsessed with this week?
This week, I am obsessed with the mountains. And the reason that I say that is because we just got back from a week in Yellowstone. And prior to that, I had spent a week hiking in Colorado. So I am fresh out of just being completely consumed with absolute wonder in nature and getting somewhere and exploring. And so that's what I'm obsessed with.
That is awesome.
Concise and awesome.
Yes, she's on it.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm ready to start traveling again.
Yes.
Get back out there. Oh, what about you, Jesse?
Just came back from
Well,
Mexico.
kind of segueing off of Nikki there. I mean, we did just take a vacation, so I'm kind of obsessed with reading some Stephen King short stories this week.
Nice.
Snap.
My vacation mode is, how many books do I think I could chew through?
Yeah.
But knowing we were going to Yellowstone and we're probably going to be preoccupied, I took short story collections and I got pretty locked in on those. So at night now, I've been trying to get back into it. I'm usually the type, I love reading, but I usually fall asleep at the book on my face. So. And it hurts sometimes if you're lying on your back, it thumps you in the head,
Just like reading It or something.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, that's a
hardback,
5-pound book.
Yeah.
So.
That's hilarious. We actually, our last podcast, we talked about, we had a Stephen King fan, a horror fan.
She runs a horror podcast.
Yeah,
so.
she's a
Very
designer
nice.
as well.
Nice.
Yeah, so
I'm into that.
we dove into that one. It was pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
What about you, Lauren?
So my husband and I are watching a show that is super weird. It's called Doom Patrol. It's on HBO, and it is a trippy DC comic show. It is really weird. I don't know how we've kept going, but we finished the first season the other day. And if you're into some DC comic and you're willing to stick it out, it is really interesting. It's got some really good character development. I think that's why we've enjoyed it. But yeah, it's very trippy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
So I am late to this game,
Okay.
but I am becoming obsessed with Hamilton
Oh gosh.
on Disney Plus. it is just like this. It's not even just I've only seen it twice, and they were spread out, but it's like the songs are just in my head all the time. So I was asking Ava, a friend of the show down there taking photos. I was like, is it just me or is Hamilton song just like they just play all day long in my head? It's driving me crazy.
Your wife never stops singing.
That's probably why too. Yeah, we have that just nonstop. So, but I love me some Hamilton. I wish I could see it live now.
You like gone deep now.
I went. Well, it's all the rap battles and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh, it's just so good.
There you go.
I was throwing shade at it at first. I was like, it's gonna be dumb. This is stupid. I don't want to
thought
see
it was
this.
gonna
I
be
don't
dumb.
want to watch it. Like, come on, it's well worth it. So anyway, all right. Hey, that's cool. I'm actually planning to go to Mexico next month, so I'm really excited to just sit and read a book and just
Vacation mode.
sit. Yeah, in vacation mode. It's gonna be amazing. Oh, so ready. So
You should
ready.
pick a fiction book.
I should. I'm always nonfiction, and they're always getting on to me like, you need something.
He reads business books.
I'm with you.
I do.
I get that.
I'm like,
It's like
what am
time
I-
to relax and learn how to improve myself.
Yes,
I
thank
think
you.
Nikki had packed some Brenny Brown. Or
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So good. Exactly. See,
All
that's.
right.
I'm not the only one.
I know
don't
you're
feel
not.
so
I know
bad
you're
now.
not.
Okay. I'll make a healthy balance of it. So, but hey, so let's hear about you guys. Let's hear really how your story started, where you guys came from, because I know there's some like working in corporate America, jumping and doing this thing. We are just. So I'll tell you just ahead of time. I saw your storefronts and then all of a sudden found out how many people knew you guys. And then I'm like, how have we not known about them before? Mm-hmm. And so anybody I was telling was like, yeah, I was like, we're thinking about having American Estates on. They're like, oh my goodness, you have to. Oh man, I'm like highly embarrassed of our tabletop right now because I'm like, I was like moving it around, repositioning. I was like, oh, this is embarrassing.
I thought about that too.
we need to have you guys commission something for us.
It's much
here.
lighter carrying it up those stairs.
Yeah.
Though, so you made the right decision. Maybe.
It really was actually. But it is one of those things that you guys have amazing products and just quality wise. I mean, anybody we've talked to has just sang your praises. And so it's really cool.
Thank you so much.
We really, again, appreciate you guys coming on. But tell us kind of from the beginning where this idea came from and then, how you guys launched.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I would say I'll take it from the beginning. I'll try to be fairly short because I've been accused of talking too much. But, I've been doing this for about 9 years now. I realized the other day I've been saying I've been doing it for 8 years for about 3 years, so I figured it was time to bump it up. I think officially I'm in 9-year territory. Started out really small. Essentially, growing up, all I wanted to do was be a rock star, and I really got really close with that. Knocked on the door, sort of got to that met the devil at the crossroads type of thing, and thought, I think actually I'm going to turn back. So. Came back and just went to work with my father doing home remodels. Good, honest work, hard work. Never bothered me except that I just kind of realized, there's this artist that was kind of dying inside of me. I needed that fulfillment of just artistic expression. Mm-hmm. So I kind of started thinking about what's next. And this conversation popped into my head about when I was I think I was 16 years old, and my brother and I, he was 14. We were kind of populating this house because we lived with my pops, but he wasn't really there much because he was kind of with his lady, and we could handle ourselves. So we were kind of making our space our own, and I think I found this old sewing machine base and one of those wrought iron Singer things, and put some plywood on top, and I was like, I made a table. This is awesome. And I was reflecting to my brother about my awesomeness and thought, man, it'd be really cool to make furniture for a living. He's, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. So here I am, 10, 12, 13 years later, something like that, thinking about, what in the world am I going to do with myself? I need something more. And I thought about that conversation and realized, well, you know what? I've got access to tools. I've got comfortability with using them. I'm not afraid of working hard. I've got creative ideas. I was going to jump into this. So jump into it I did. Had some growth from, something I did nights and weekends to something I was doing full time to I need some help and so on and so forth. About 3 years into it, Nikki came onto the scene, and my poor management had things in pretty bad shape. I mean, we were doing a lot of volume, making awesome stuff, stuff that, is now very well recognized, Onyx down the street here, Oven and Tap here locally, big projects. But from a business standpoint, this wild little artist was not doing a very good job. So I'll skip the romantic story about how we met. That would probably be an entire podcast, but I'll just shorten it up. We met on Instagram.
All right.
I mildly stalked her and got the job done.
Nice.
But essentially we had kind of a reckoning there. We'd been together for a few months, and she had been, kind of helping around at the shop, just for fun. It was just a fun thing. She had this illusion that I carefully crafted of me being this really successful but kind of weird artist that lived in my shop because I was, really dedicated to the grind.
Certainly not actually homeless.
But she kind of got an idea where I was really at, and then she started kind of trying to help in that. So it was towards the tail end of that year, which was 2015, when we officially LLC'd as a business. I met Nikki. She was like, what you're doing is not working. I think I can help you. She had a corporate job at the time, so she was coming over, late afternoon, working with me into the night. And we stripped it back down to just me. And at the time, I had 8 full-time employees.
Oh, wow.
We stripped it back down to me and figured out how to do it right and started growing from there. it was a choppy road from there. Yet, still an immense amount of lessons to learn. But we sort of look at that as sort of the starting point. Is like the summer, fall of 2015. That's when we really started what is truly American Estates now, and that's where Nikki came in 2016, left her corporate job summer 2016, and came to work for me.
Yep.
Together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work for you.
I work.
He works for me.
That's right. Let's get it right. So you left your corporate job and went full time. And so what are kind of the roles in the business, and who handles what?
Well, the reality is that we both do a lot of stuff together. We have different strengths, but it's really hard for us to truly separate. So, I mean, Jesse is the predominant, creative. He's the visionary. He's the designer. But I also have, a love for those things and a talent along with Jesse that is just kind of, we see things differently. And I think when we come together is really what has actually made us get to where we are now, is that we do both work on things together. But, as he drives into that more and more, the thing that I really love and thrive in, I think, is the marketing, the social, and some of the more, actual business stuff, not just like, oh, I'm a business owner, but like, how do you make something be a business? How do you go from, I enjoy doing this to I can make money doing this? And so we both wear a lot of hats, but I think predominantly as we get more and more into it, we're each able to lean more into what we're really most passionate doing.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's awesome. I think it's funny because kind of during the pandemic, I think a lot of people have started side hustles, and a lot of people in that mode right now of like, hey, I enjoy doing this and I want to kind of take this to the next level, and I'm making a little bit of money here and there, but could this actually be a full-time thing? So it's really cool to hear, honestly, that, I mean, the struggle is real, right? Right out of the gate.
It's very real.
But it is one of those things that kind of that persistence, through time, being able to actually make it a reality. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what attracted you to him? I mean, what was this? Was it his manliness? Or was
it was the tattoos mostly. No, I mean, honestly, when Jesse and I first interacted, like you said, we met on Instagram, and I like hate when he says that, because to me that's like creepy kind of, But, I followed him because his account had done like a giveaway, follow, and, we're getting close to a certain benchmark. And so someone here in Northwest Arkansas had posted it, and that's cool, I'll follow that. And then I have been really into like DIY stuff, so straight out of college, when I started my career, I bought a house and started doing some DIY projects. I made like a bed, some floating shelves, just different things that I could do in the evenings with some very cheap tools in my garage. And I would share about that on my Instagram. That was just something that for fun, I would kind of like tell the story of what I was taking on. And at the time, Jesse was kind of checking in with people who are regularly interacting with his account because, hey, could be a potential buyer or someone who's interested.
Definitely.
So, he did a great job growing the initial, 5,000 or so followers on Instagram before I had even, heard of him. But he started seeing me, and I guess it really, the question wasn't what attracted, me to him, because he was chasing me. But the first time that we ran into each other in person, we just sat down and talked about, what are you about? And we instantly clicked.
Yeah.
And I could see his passion for, everything that he did and still does. And it was exciting to me. And so it didn't take very many times with us getting together and talking for us to realize, I think we are interested in getting together and talking about this like on an ongoing basis.
That's awesome. Well, and you pointed out something too that is super helpful, especially, we have a lot of small business owners, marketers that listen to our podcast. And so it really is in that space of talking about growing channels. They're always like, well, hey, how do I grow my business? How do I grow on Instagram? How do I, and it really is like the reaching out, interacting, that engagement will just go through the roof because you're replying to comments when people comment. It's an actual social platform.
Right.
And so you're treating it like that. And so I think that's where a lot of companies honestly don't do that. They're just like, well, I just want content out there, and then I want a lot of followers. Right. It's like, well, you do have to kind of put some skin in the game of interacting with people in that space or using those same hashtags or stuff. So, this is completely a sidebar, but what was it that you were doing to kind of help grow that? Was it kind of along that same line? I mean, what were you doing?
Yeah, I would say that my growth early on was just like pure grassroots, being authentic, just genuinely enjoying making a community of, talking to other people, a lot of other, people that were in the field, makers and builders and things like that. And just, having a good, honest, genuine, banter back and forth. I really enjoyed that. It was, to me, just because of my particular place in life at the time, I mostly worked through the night, and because I was taking care of my little boy during the day, and so that was my community. Mm-hmm. That was my interaction with people. So I think that really helped, and you don't have to be in that position in order to grow in that way. It's just that authenticity and like being genuine with people, led to a lot of growth. Now, because of the particular situation I was in, a lot of our followers were like in Australia and Asia, because I was on, Instagram interacting through the night, and it was like their daytime there. So it was a little bit of an odd, following in the beginning. So I imagine we've had a lot of changeover since then. When Nikki came about, it was like, well, you might want to think about how to like actually utilize this as a tool instead of just like, yay for me, I've got this many numbers. It's like, if they're not local or they're not going to buy because you're not offering things that they can buy, like what is the point? So I think it was at that point we started trying to, forget the number of people. It's about quality of engagement and quality of following. So if it's like, if it's a bunch of people that are never going to buy your product because you don't have anything to sell to them, then, okay, cool. You got some numbers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we started intentionally focusing, at least in that phase, on growing a following that was, mostly local and regional centric, people that, potentially might actually, turn into a client or a customer of ours. Our Instagram stayed at a level that wasn't like, wow, like look at this.
We weren't looking for millions of followers on Instagram.
But we've had a very effective following, and a lot of our clientele are coming to us. Yeah, I saw something on Instagram, started following you, and so it was good, authentic following.
Well, and I will say this, I mean, a lot of it too is probably just quality of images and videos. I mean, you guys do great with that too. I was about to ask, I was like, so who is the...
You scroll back a few years in there and you see...
I've tried to hide most of what I'm embarrassed by.
We've archived a lot of stuff from back when I was doing it, but you can see what was posted from my iPhone 4,
Nice.
Yeah, she's got a strategy, and there's a rhyme and a reason to how she posts, and it's wonderful.
Nice. Well, and we've always so I'm trying to remember. Is there your son Rubio, or is that? I see the name on TikTok. I was like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Our son is Simon.
Yeah, Simon Shredsley.
And Rubio is the finished product that we use, that you probably saw a video of him applying it, and he's saying, this is how you apply Rubio monocoat. And that's the product we use.
That's so funny. I was like, it was a super cute video.
Rubio would be a cool name.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I was like,
I don't think my pasty white redhead son could pull off Rubio.
Very exotic. That's awesome. So talk to us about that, because you guys have done some really cool like behind the scenes videos. You said one hit, I think before we started, but it was 350,000 views. What's kind of been that niche that you guys have really found that works in that space on TikTok specifically?
Yeah. So, well, I'll start by saying that we started TikTok as something that was like a no pressure, like no following thing,
just
because it was like
do,
with Instagram, I'm like I'm like, I can't post something that's not part of my original plan here. Like I cared about it, honestly, I think too much. Which led to us going to TikTok just to kind of create for fun, low pressure, record on the phone, whatever. And we realized that with a few hashtags of, woodworker, maker,
FYP.
Yeah, FYP, whatever.
Like, what is FYP? I don't know. Everyone puts it on there.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, this shows how little he's aware of. No, not really. But anyway, what we realized is that with TikTok specifically, you have a completely flooded, group of consumers who are looking for things to follow.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not going to make content for TikTok because that's where people go and dance, and I'm not interested in dancing. Well, like, we're not dancing either. Like, there are people who are looking to find what they're interested in, but the app is so young that there aren't a ton of people who are masters both in the industry and in producing video content for it.
True.
And I think that's been, we've been fortunate that we are, I would like to say I think we're good at what we do, but we are also really good at capturing it.
Yeah.
And finding a way to prioritize sharing that as, a part of our product as a company. The content that we put out online on numerous platforms, like, that is a huge thing that we care about and feel like it's a way that we connect with people before they're, in a position to buy from us or hire us. Like, we are for the community more than anything else.
Well, and I think, it kind of goes back to the know, like, and trust, right? Do they know you? Do they like you? Do they trust you? And you can build that so easily on a social platform, and you guys have done a great job of that too. And I think even with, back to your point, that people are looking for interests like that they like on there. My wife is one, she loves the home decor ones.
Yeah.
It's like, never mind life would I have thought a home decor would be such a big thing on TikTok, but it's like, hey, this is me, and now I put this here, now I change this. Now I'm like, that is not my interest at all. But she's found that on there. And again, it's kind of like people thinking it's only teenagers dancing, but it's like, no, your algorithm can really make it to where you find some really cool things.
And it's still being defined as a platform. And I will say, like, TikTok is kind of a different animal for us, because, like, initially when we started, we're like, we're gonna respond to every single comment. We're gonna and like that video early on that went to like 350,000. That put us to the test. Like, we're like, we don't have time for this.
It was like, there's hundreds of comments.
But a few, and people would comment things like, oh, thank you so much. I feel like you commented back like that. You made my day. And I'm like, why? Like, nobody acts like this on Instagram.
We're not that cool.
But then, a few weeks later, we had a video that is now pushing 5 million views. Wow. And that one was just like, all right, Jesus, take the wheel. We can't do this. We cannot do these comments anymore. And it just, you just kind of had to let it go. Okay. And now we kind of understand. It's like, okay, that's why someone was like, oh, I can't believe you commented back. Because it does get to a point where it's like, all right, first of all, literally 500 people have already said that exact same thing.
Yeah.
I cannot respond to this one more time, but but that was a crazy time too, because we're just sitting there on the couch, like, literally like two nerds, just like, oh my gosh, like, just watching this like go viral. Like, our follows are going up by the like hundreds per minute, and we're just like, this is crazy. So TikTok is thrilling.
It's working.
It's like a social media Wild West, It's great.
Well, that's what a lot of people have related TikTok to, as being basically Facebook 2010, Instagram 2012. Like, it's really just a free for all, and which is what makes it fun. And that's what I miss about Instagram. I miss about Facebook back in the day. And so that's pretty cool. Okay, Lauren, she told me, she was like, I have some questions. She's like, but I'm sure you'll have a ton of questions.
He always does.
I do. So I'm gonna defer back. Yeah. Sorry.
It's cool.
I'm nerding out a little bit. This
they
is
just
awesome.
forget I'm even here. So. No, it was great. But I did want to ask, how did you guys choose the name?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was that's one of those ones that I was like, I'll have to keep short. I was operating under a different name that was horrible.
Okay.
I could not come up with anything, so I just kind of threw something out there. But when it came time that I was gonna like really legitimize LLC, all that kind of stuff, I needed to have. Well, I was going into like talking to people who were going to do branding and didn't really know what I really wanted my business to be called. And so shortly before that, went down, and Jeremy Teff and Black Box did our branding, I was like, all right, I got to find something killer. And I was talking to John Allen, who owns Onyx Coffee Lab, dear friend of mine, and he was telling me about this exciting new coffee. He was still in the early stages. They were really starting to just like take off at that point. And he was like, yeah, I just went to this place. We got this awesome coffee coming in. It's a something estate lot, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. All right. That sounds awesome, man. I can't wait to drink it. I get off the phone, and I think a few minutes later I was like, American Estates. That's awesome. And so it's one of those days where you think you got like the idea, and you you call somebody and tell them and like have affirmation, and nobody answers. Everyone, you're getting voicemails, they're like, oh, somebody just tell me this is good. But eventually, that I landed on that. I liked the way that because it resonated with me, despite its random, unrelated origin. To me, one of the like core tenets of our business is the idea of, people, our society for a very long time became very just consumerist. It was just buy quick, fast garbage. I want it now, So this company was born out of my own pain points from that. When I bought my first house and I was populating it, it was like, man, I got, 2 people, 3 bedrooms, 1,800 square foot. I got to fill all these rooms with something. They can't just be empty rooms. Truth is I bought too much house, but whatever. So, buying stuff at Target, or IKEA, garage sales, all this stuff. And you buy it and you're like, oh, this looks great. And you feel like you're happy with it. But then, within months, it's on the curb, or you're giving it away, or selling it in a yard sale, giving it to Salvation Army, whatever it is. But that was kind of how, a lot of people in our country were doing things. And right about the time, I started this, I felt that, there was kind of a swing. People were like, man, I don't want this junk anymore. I want stuff that's good, it's quality. To some, it was really important. They wanted it made in America or locally made, or, they want a story, And I really, I locked in on that. Those values were important to me. And I wanted to be able to build things for people that, when they move on from this earth, their kids are going to fight over who gets to take it instead of who has to take it to Goodwill or to the dumpster. That's been my thing. And so, in a state, people think of like real estate, like, or like a mansion on big rolling, well manicured lawns and all that. Yes, but your estate is sort of, what you build in your life and what you leave behind to your children and to the next generation. And so that's what we want to be tied into, is like providing, pieces of furniture for people that they are going to be able to generationally pass down. Part of their estate and their legacy. Legacy is a word that's really tied into our company as well. So it just, when that hit, it was like, okay, this is why I couldn't come up with anything good, because this is what was destined for me, right here. And it's always felt right.
I think you just took us to church.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was an incredible answer.
I am inspired right now.
Preach.
Hey, this is what I used to do before I worked too much.
I just want to go home and throw out everything, and then just commission you guys to do everything for us. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe someday we'll have like a push pull drag it event where you can trade your IKEA.
Cash or clunkers of furniture. So I like it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, one of the things I was getting on your website and kind of looking at, just kind of getting the feel for your company and everything. And I noticed that you guys had a page called your Legacy Fund. And that seems to match with what you were just saying. So tell us a little bit, what is your Legacy Fund?
Yeah, so our Legacy Fund is something that we created out of basically a desire to give back to the community. We have had a lot of people say to us things like, oh man, I wish that I could have something like that, but I don't think I could ever afford that, or, whatever. We know that what we build is a quality product that has a high value, and that, it can make a big difference when you walk into a home and you see someone who's proud of something in their space. Yeah. And we have known so many people in the community who have made such an impact, but who have hit, hard times or, just need a little something. And we created this fund as a way for us to essentially self-fund donations to people that are, either needing some help or just deserving of some honor. And we've been raising that over the last couple of months and are going to be choosing our kind of first recipient here basically in time for the holiday season this season. So.
Wow.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things that kind of got a little tripped up by the whole COVID thing, but we're incredibly excited about that. We want to be able to get into a really good rhythm of just blessing people in our community that do things selflessly for others.
Who represent living a life of legacy. I mean, that's kind of the reason that we chose that title is, people who really represent the personal values that we have. We want to just be able to honor that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That is incredible. Seriously.
So if someone would want to nominate someone, how would they do that?
They can go to our website. We've got a page that's just, you provide us with contact information for you and whoever you're nominating, as well as why you're nominating them. And we're going to be reviewing them over the next couple of weeks and months, and then we'll, have a big announcement.
That's awesome.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I think we've gone through this, and most businesses too, like that have a heart for the community. It's like, how can we give back? What can we do? And especially when COVID first hit, we really tried to do a lot of support around local businesses, and it cracked me up. I was several of our friends, so we did like a big giveaway for like teachers, specifically kind of working through that, like now we're all virtual and stuff like that. And so we bought a bunch of gift cards, and it was so funny because I was reaching out to my several friends of mine that kind of, John and several of those guys and Tyler over at TC Screen. It was so funny. I'm like, hey, we're doing this giveaway. I need to pick up some gift cards or whatever. And he was like, sure, how many you need? And he was like giving them to us to give away. And I was like, I'm trying to support your business. Like, let me, but that's just a community that we live in. That's just like, oh, sure. Yeah, we'll give you whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm doing this for you. Like, let me help you. Let me bless you in that sense too. So that's love what you guys are doing. That's so cool.
Yeah. Thanks. So it's kind of been cool to kind of see you guys open up your storefront or your showroom, I should say. So I wanted to ask you guys particularly, that's always kind of the scary leap to get like storefront, or anything. What advice would you give to new business owners, like going out on their own the first time or making like the scary leap?
Well, I would say that there is so much advice. There's more advice than I could possibly summarize. So,
and you'd probably get pretty different advice.
Yeah.
Who takes the microphone?
True. Yeah. I told Jesse, I was like, if they ask anything about this, let me answer it.
I got this.
But that being said, I mean, I think that the reality is you have to have an equal heart for being willing to take the risk and have the mind to know that you can do it in a way that is going to be sustainable and that you have a plan and you're not just throwing caution to the wind without reason. And that's the reason Jesse's saying you would have very different answers depending on who you ask, because for years, literally years, Jesse has been saying, I want a storefront, I want a showroom, I just picture the space, and I'm like, how are we going to pay for that? Who's going to run it? Like, all the
we don't have time for that.
Yeah, all the logistical things that go into taking any big step next in your business is it does take time, resources, but it also takes, being brave, having the vision. And it just goes back to, what I said earlier about us having success, I think, because of the way that we're able to come at this together from such different ways. You have to believe that you can do it and not be afraid of doing it. And then you have to do it well. And, obviously a lot goes into each of those things, but I think that, if you are someone who is interested in taking a leap, make sure you have a plan or make sure you have someone who cares about your plan. And if you're someone who has a plan but has, so much fear and reservation about taking a step, find someone who believes in you and who is ready to race forward and, hold your hand, dragging you along as you go, I don't know that we're ready, And so that's what we've been to each other, and I think that's what has allowed us to get everywhere we've ever been.
And I would also add to that, I would say don't be afraid to, temper yourself and pass up on a few things that seem like, this is the right time or this is a good opportunity, when at times, they can be a big reach and they could be really, taxing to try to make it happen. And just, take some time and wait and see if something happens that you're going, okay, this is almost too good to be true, that I'm kind of skeptical. Because, truthfully, that's what happened with us. And, we went from, some opportunities that were passed up that, like, I look back on and go, man, I don't think that would have made it, no matter what we did. Like, no matter how cool we are, like, I don't think we could have made that work in retrospect. And instead, we end up in this super prime location, 2 doors down from, from Onyx,
our biggest
downtown
client
Rogers.
and best friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like we're making our own little super cool neighborhood down there. And I mean, we're huge buyers and, supporters of downtown Rogers. Again, COVID's kind of, got things kind of muted for the time being. But when we have our breakout, I mean, it's going to be amazing down there. And I can't wait. We love that. We love that neighborhood. We love that community. We love all of Northwest Arkansas, but, we also love that we have our little space there in downtown Rogers. So
that's incredible.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Well, we had looked at actually some space down there.
We did.
And it was just one of those things because I still live in Rogers, and so that downtown area is just very special to me, and so always has been. So it was really cool whenever we did kind of see you guys pop up. I was like, what is that? And then Tef was telling us, he was like, oh yeah, it's amazing. But no, we just love downtown Rogers, and obviously 1907 has just completely changed that whole.
Yeah.
I remember when somebody said that about John moving. Somebody was like, I just can't believe they're like HQ is gonna be downtown Rogers. I was like, well, yeah, it's super cool down there. Why wouldn't it be? And they're like, really? It's just people didn't have a concept of what that was down there, and so
it's actually kind of amazing because years before that, probably 4 or 5 years ago, I had walked through that building when it was still the Dollar Saver. Yeah. And with my son, who was, no more than 3 at the time, tugging him around and just going, my gosh, this building is amazing. Like, I wish I could get my hands on this building and, turn it into something. And little did I know I was going to get a chance to get my hands on that building.
So cool.
I'm thankful that I didn't have to do the whole project.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But I love that, we got to make our mark in there, and I'm super proud and to this day incredibly excited about the things that we did in that space. And just that space, cumulatively what it turned out to be is just, it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's next for American Estates?
Well, there is a lot of stuff that we have in the works right now, and some of it is stuff that we can't quite share quite yet.
Okay.
We'll bring you back for another update.
Yeah, but the that's just kind of my mysterious tease to create intrigue.
Yeah.
But all that to say, we really do have some really cool things that we are about to step into as a business. We have gone from, as Jesse talked about in the beginning, how it was the 2 of us working and then growing slowly. We now have a team that blows us away every day with what they're able to produce. And, it is no longer just the 2 of us running the show. We have a lot of people helping make some really cool things happen. And the process of growing to that point has now allowed us to step back from some of the more, hey, we got to execute these projects, to being able to step back and go, hey, what do we want to do? Who do we want to be? What is next? And a lot of the social media content creation, marketing stuff, YouTube channel, we are truly just getting started, and we've got a lot planned that we're going to be producing in the next couple of months, and would really encourage anyone to follow along if they're interested in kind of just seeing our, seeing what we have coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So where can people follow you guys if they haven't already?
You can follow us. We are American Estates, and that's what we're called on Instagram. And then we've got a YouTube channel that's American Estates NWA. And then you can follow us on TikTok at American Estates.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Do we miss anything?
No.
Here, I was like wrapping it up, and
You're good.
I've already gotten in trouble once, so I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned because we are going to do some rapid fire questions after this. The hidden track, as Jess and I were talking, you gotta have the hidden track.
Gotta have the hidden track.
But thank you guys again so much, and we'll have everything linked in the show notes. GoRogueX.com. Make sure you guys check out the blog there, and we'll link to everything and some awesome photography and the videos. You guys seriously have to go check that out. It's amazing. So, but yeah, thanks again, Jesse and Nikki. Appreciate you guys. All right, Lauren, rapid fire. You ready?
I am ready.
Are you guys ready?
I think so.
All right. I made him real nervous. Well, I don't know. What are we getting into?
But
how rapid?
Do it.
How much fire?
No, not like that. Okay, this one's actually a really easy question. What is your favorite room in your house?
Oh,
and why?
That's a good question for them too.
I picked it for them.
Yeah.
My answer would be our living room.
Okay.
And the reason being, it's the one that we've done the most to, and we've really just kind of anything that we were interested in trying out kind of landed in the living room, and there are some pieces that were, happy accidents that are like, oh my gosh, I would never trade this, And it's also where we spend the most of our time. So we hang out there, watch TV, have conversations, do work. It's just,
Nice.
it's really the center of our home.
Nice.
For me, it would be the kitchen. I love to cook, so
Okay.
Nice.
I love our kitchen. When we moved into our house, it was literally like a closet with a stove and a refrigerator in it, and we closed on that house at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon and went in straight over there, took sledgehammers to it, demoed the kitchen. Big mistake. We were without a kitchen for like 7 months. But, we expanded the kitchen into a really awesome, functional shape with a cool island that I just absolutely adore that we made. And I love to cook.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool. What about you?
Right now, we live in a very shoebox home. And so I think it's my bedroom because recently I stripped everything off the walls. And I only have we have these old school window panes that are above our bed. And that's it. That's the only decor that's in there. So I have 2 small children. And so it's just chaos reigning in our house. And so when I go into our bedroom, the blue walls, and then that's it. There's nothing there. And so I can breathe.
Yeah.
Yes. It's going to be okay, So, and we have a really big comfy chair in the corner. So I can just curl up in there and I'm good.
I was going to say, when you said we ripped everything off the walls, was it the children that were ripping everything off the walls, or was it okay?
I still have a very tall baby gate that's locked. Sorry, this is an adult space.
This is my fortress.
I still find dinosaurs and Legos in my bed, but I try.
All right, mine's not as cool as all of you guys's, by the way. Because I say that, I have my semi man cave a little bit.
It is
so
very
we moved,
much a cave.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So when we moved into this house, and it was last year, and it's like a walkout basement. So it's just a single level, and then the kids' rooms and stuff are downstairs. And then there's this media type room. It used to be like a pool table room. And you went into it, it was all red. It was blood red with black blotches all of it. It was definitely a billiards type room.
Yeah.
And so we came in first week and just completely painted it a light gray, so that way it's open it up. But got a little kegerator in the corner, and now I have TV and some reclining seats, and so it's a man cave.
How many locks you got on that door?
There only one, but we keep the key. We got little, so we keep the key way up and make sure every night that thing is locked up. Yeah, they actually broke one of my recliners the first time we left it open. I was like, never again. I was never again.
My child also threw sunflower seeds all through that room.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the kids do get to use it sometimes, which is so sad because I'm if I was a kid, I'd be like, I want to watch everything in here. Yeah, but no, sorry. Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Okay.
Fill in the blank. Taylor Swift is...
Oh, goodness.
A singer?
Okay. There we go.
Question mark? That's...
Maybe? I don't know.
Not happy with Kanye West?
Oh. Man, that's real social. I like that. All right. So, dang it. I always have a long answer.
Yes, you do.
Taylor Swift is interesting in my book because somebody did she have a new documentary that came out, and there was a podcast I listened to that has nothing to do with it, and they're we're gonna dissect this documentary and about how intrigued all the things she's in and how hardworking and all this stuff, but then she's also kind of what was the word you used? On the brink. Yeah, it's okay, but anyway, yeah. What about you? That was a random. That was.
I know, but people have pretty passionate opinions about Taylor Swift, and she's just this random cultural icon that people are you love, you hate.
Don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. She's confusing to me.
Yeah.
Confusing.
Her
that was
my
that's a
instinctual
good
reaction
word.
was confusing.
Her latest
Yes.
album, I was like, I don't know what to think about this.
I haven't listened to it
Haven't
yet,
listened
so
to it,
that's probably why my response was like, It's just I haven't dipped into that yet.
She just launched it, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't say anything about it. It was like, oh yeah, tomorrow, and then it launched, which
There
was
it was.
huge. Ava, shout out to Ava, friend of the show.
Slow
Not a
clap.
fan of silencing your phone, but that's all right. All right, hey, that's a good thing to end on.
Yeah.
Let's leave it in there. All right, we'll see you guys later.